Ava blessings. Welcome to this episode of Embodying the Shekhinah. This podcast is here to support us, to guide us during these times of accelerating energy of ascension in order to integrate, to embody, and to remember our soul essence. I'm your host. My name is Arya. I am an ordained Magdalene priestess, Reiki master, energy, and sound alchemist. Happy new moon. We are entering the new lunar cycle of Sivan, Gemini. This is the month of divine union, the month of miracles. And this is a very powerful time. The energy is ramping up. There have been solar storms. There's all kinds of energetic frequencies. Let me define it that way. There are all kinds of energetic frequencies that are coming in, and they are forcing us or allowing us, depending on how much resistance we hold in our body, to heal, to integrate, to awaken and embody and activate new aspects of our being. And that newness, that welcoming, involves us shedding layers that are not ours. They were never ours. We chose to take them on as part of our soul's evolution and expansion. But now it's kind of like the cocoon and the butterfly, or the chick in the egg. When life is ready to expand, there is an outer shell that needs to be broken. This outer shell for us consists of illusions, karmas, traumas, limitations, limiting beliefs, programs, societal, religious, otherwise, doesn't matter what kind of programs. It's the same thing. It's all the scaffolding that is no longer needed. There are points in time when we as human beings, we develop ways of coping, ways of dealing with the world, with how we grew up, with what we experience. We develop coping mechanisms. But there comes a point where we no longer need those coping mechanisms. And this is where many of us are at right now. This new moon in Gemini. Gemini is not my favorite energy. I'm going to say this straight out. And the reason that it's not my favorite energy is because of the shadow aspect of Gemini. There is a superficiality, a surface level intellect that I don't particularly resonate with. And I also don't like wishy-washiness. If you're going to do something, do it, commit to it, go for it, and let's move on. However, Gemini, similar to Libra, they don't work that way. They're air signs. They're mutable signs. I have, however, come to understand Gemini on a deeper level as I have dove into the teachings of Aramaic mysticism and the Kabbalistic perspective of the astrological wheel. And what's interesting is when I view it, because we all have a lens through which we view the world, when I view Gemini through the Kabbalistic Aramaic mystical lens, I understand Gemini, and I can see how it fits into the energetic underpinnings of our humanity. And this is what I'm going to dive into in this episode. I'm going to speak about the Aramaic Kabbalistic perspective of Gemini, weaved in with some Western tropical astrology of Gemini. But I'm going to keep the Western to a minimum because it's very surface. It's basic. It gives me basic big bitch energy. So we're not going to dive too much into the Western interpretation of Gemini, simply because I do not feel that is what is truly at the heart of Gemini, and I do not feel that is what we need as the collective. If we dive into those mercurial aspects of Gemini, I think we miss the point. And the point of this Gemini lunar portal. And the magic happens when we understand that we are entering the cosmic bridal chamber. We are entering the union, the divine union between humanity and the divine. We are unifying polarities during this cycle. This is the purpose of Gemini. This is the magic within Gemini. It's not just about being ruled by Mercury, having two sides or two faces, which is the Western perspective. It's not just about the twins energy, which is interesting because of my own situation with twins. So there's a lot happening with the twins aspect. And then, wow, okay, that came in. Okay, so we're going to talk about twin flames. Don't ask me why this came in, but this is coming in right now. Twin flames, they don't exist. I don't care what you've heard, wherever you heard it. I don't care. It doesn't exist. Why? It doesn't exist because it's simply a nice and a romanticized version of a karmic relationship. Twin flames don't exist because your soul is whole and complete. And if we want to think about how many sparks of our soul there exists, then it's a multitude. And it's not just a twin situation, it's a multitude situation. It's existing on multiple dimensions. And on top of that, there's the aspect of, even if your soul chose to incarnate, and we're speaking about this particular body and embodiment of your magnificent, expansive soul existence, you're still whole and complete. You do not need a twin to complete you. That whole concept gives me the icks, complete icks. And this is what I want to remind us during this Gemini season. You are whole, you are complete, you are sovereign. You do not need anything outside of you to reveal the infinite magic that exists within you. This doesn't mean that we can do it on our own, because we can do it on our own. Let me rephrase that. We can, quote unquote, do it on our own. However, because of the depth of our experience as soul, it's always easier and we have a faster result when we approach a situation kind of as a team. A team has different areas of expertise that come together and add to the whole. This is why it's important to have teachers, mentors, guides, people that are walking the path, and again, walking the path in a real, grounded, and embodied way. Because there are plenty of people walking many paths in this world, and unfortunately, they can be very surface level. And I think you're getting my point, and my resistance to gelling and understanding with the Western perspective of Gemini. I don't do surface. I don't do basic bitch energy. I don't do fluff. And I stay away from anything that is remotely superficial. I don't like it. I don't respect it. I just don't. It does not resonate with my personal frequency. And this is why sometimes, especially when I was younger, my energy often came across as harsh, because I was so in my it has to be this way that I wouldn't allow for different expressions. Now, as I've gotten more mature and hopefully wiser, I understand that there's a time and a place for a surface level of knowledge. Like, I can't give beginners into spirituality the in-depth wisdom that I possess from all of my years of study and exploration and embodiment and practice. I cannot give all of that depth in 3 minutes, or to an entry level person who's just beginning to awaken, I can't because I will fry their system. So I understand the Western perspective for Gemini. It's surface for a reason. It's surface because surface sometimes is what is needed to kind of give you an overview of what needs to happen. Where people fail in their own expansion is where they stay at the surface level. They do not want to go into the depths. And darling, this is not the time to not want to go into the depths. You need to want to go deep, because now it's that time. It's not the time to be playing around on the surface. It's the time to be unraveling the deep, dark stuff that's still keeping you stuck in the same patterns. So this moon is ruled by Reish, the Aramaic Hebrew creation frequency that created Gemini. Gemini is the ruler. Not Gemini. Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. Zayin is the Aramaic Hebrew creation frequency that created Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. It is mutable. It is in the middle of winter. Wow. Whew. I'm on several different timelines. Okay, come back here. We're in the middle of spring in the northern hemisphere. And this moon is happening on the 16th of May, which is a Friday. It's a Shabbat day. It's a day to align with the divine. It's a day to allow the Shekhinah, the Holy Spirit, to flow into your being. It is happening at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 1:01 on the West Coast, and 10:01 p.m. in the evening, Central European Time. It is happening at 25 degrees of Taurus. So the new moon is the union, the conjunction of the sun and the moon, the inner and the outer, the masculine and the feminine, your soul with your embodiment. It's happening at 25 degrees of Taurus. And even though it's a Taurus moon, we're entering into a new cycle that is the cycle of Gemini, of Sivan. This moon is happening at 7 degrees, which again brings in that energy of Taurus, of Venus, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. 7 is the number that correlates to our auric field. It is a number that reminds us that we magnetize things, experiences into our lives when we align with victory. This number is about choosing creation over destruction. It is about profound spiritual awakening. It is an initiation. 7s are initiation. It's connected to Mary Magdalene. Interior divine union, the opening of portals, transformation, absolute abundance, spiritual beauty. And it's a spiritual beauty that manifests in all of our surroundings. With this number, there is a need for personal space, for silence, for stillness. It is in the stillness that we can receive the wisdom. So it is a deeply profound number, and of course it's bringing us into the energy of Gemini, which is the month of the bride and the bridegroom. The bridegroom is the divine mother, father, Allah. The bride is humanity, Adama. We are all the bride. And we are all going into this month to partake and to experience the alchemical marriage, the union of the divine, the union with the divine. Let me rephrase that. The union with the divine, the union of all polarities, the union of inner, outer, upper, lower, heaven, earth, masculine, feminine. We are the soul and the body. We are uniting everything. It is the month of unity with Allah's creation. So we are uniting with creation. It is the month of revelation, of the receptivity of divine knowledge. When I think of this month, I think of the Vesica Pisces, which is a sacred symbol. It's a sacred geometry, 2 circles intersecting. So there's an in-between part. And that in-between part is the coming together within the central column of the masculine and the feminine. If you come to see cells dividing, you notice that when, let's take the embryo and the sperm, when they come together, the first stage is the vesica Pisces, the two intertwining, coming together, and then they multiply. They basically begin to expand and in their cells. And they expand in sacred geometry. So it goes from the vesica Pisces to the flower of life, and then it continues expanding until we have the embryo, the fetus, and then which is born into the baby, the infant. So we have the energy of the masculine and the feminine aspects coming together as one. This is a potent time, and we're also coming into the Pleiadian alignment, which is a powerful time to align with divine wisdom, the divine feminine, which is wisdom. It is a time to heal our ancestral lineage, to heal anything. It is a time to invite and be receptive to unconditional love. It is a time to remember our power and our sovereignty. It is a time to work on our integrity. It is a time to heal our vision, our intuitive gifts, our relationship with our intuitive gifts, and also to heal our relationship with power and sovereignty. And of course, there's also the healing with the masculine, the feminine. So everything comes together during this time to mark this new cycle where we are going to be unifying polarities. And when we unify polarities, we are in turn opening ourselves to receive the divine. However, the key to receiving divinity is in harmonizing the polarities, bringing together of the upper and the lower worlds. This moon, during this lunation, we have the sun and the moon in conjunction, and they are in conjunction with Mercury, which is the ruler of this new lunar cycle of Gemini. And this gives us an opportunity to see and to receive where our mind, our body, and our spirit, our soul, needs to be in union. This is a time to look into what are the programs running in your mind? What are the programs running in your psyche, in your subconscious? What are the programs? And the reason I mention these programs is because these programs, they are running in the background and they're taking up space and they are creating with your energy. And oftentimes we are unaware of what we are creating. We're unaware and unconscious to the fact that we have these outdated programs running in the background, taking up bandwidth, and then we wonder why what we're calling in doesn't come in. It doesn't come in because we don't have the space. It doesn't come in because we are not a vibrational match to what we are calling in. And this is why I don't necessarily vibe with affirmations, because affirmations are great. The word has incredible power. However, if the vibration you hold, if your home frequency, if the dial that you are tuned into energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, if that dial is pointing to 97.1, it's taking a radio analogy, but you want to listen to 100.3, the two do not match. And you're not going to hear 100.3 and you're not going to receive 100.3 because you're operating at 97.1. And if you're from New York, you will understand those radio stations. Don't know why. That's just what the analogy that came in. But I'm hoping that that actually helps us understand that your vibratory, your signature frequency, and we all have one. This is why certain people vibe with us really quickly and certain people don't. And that will change over time, of course, because we're always evolving, hopefully. So this is why I don't vibe with affirmations, because you can say, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am divine radiance, energy pouring into the world. You can say that, but if in your heart, in your inner world, in your subconscious, you're running the program of, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm undeserving. As a child, I was told that I am too much, because it can be I am not enough and I am too much at the same time. If you're holding these programs in your subconscious, those are the programs that are going to be running the show, because you haven't cleared them. You haven't released. No, I'm not going to say released. You haven't let that shit go. You haven't let it go, because we are trained as human beings to view the world through the lenses, through the programs that we have inherited from our family, from our society, from our friends group, from our religious institutions that we grew up with, and we carry them forward because we are unaware of how deeply entrenched they are. This is the time to start becoming aware of what is playing in the background. If we had a relationship that was strained with either parent, if we were raised in an environment where we did not feel safe, it doesn't matter how much you call in abundance and resources. If you do not feel safe in your body, in your experience, in your confidence to be able to handle money, you're not going to receive it, because you're telling the universe with your mouth one thing, but your energy is telling the divine something completely different. It's telling me I am not to be trusted. And the divine is going to listen to the vibration you hold, not to the words that you are saying. This is why it's important to understand the programs that we carry in our subconscious. It's important to understand the stories we continue replaying in our head. And one way to do this is to go into, what do you usually say? If something goes bad, what is your default answer? Is it, nothing's ever going to work out? Is it you get angry? Is it you feel loss and you feel confusion and anxiety and you just start contracting in your body? What is it that you feel when something does not work out? And you may hold that frequency for a day, you may hold that frequency for months. It's not about the time, but it's about recognizing what is your go-to pattern, because that tells you what needs to be worked on. Let's say that you automatically feel dejected and like nothing is ever going to work out. Then in that case, there is a fundamental lack of safety that you feel in your own experience. And usually when it comes to safety, when it comes to that particular not feeling safe in your body, not feeling safe in your experience, not feeling safe to be a woman or a man, not being safe and held and nourished, that often has to do with our developmental ages of probably about 0 to about 4, because that's the root chakra. And when there is instability in the home, when there is chaos, when there is just a whole bunch of anger and crazy emotions and it's not even crazy emotions, unregulated emotions, that's the word. When we experience that instability when we are young, it is hard for us, it is harder, I should say, for us once we get older to create safety and to actually feel safe when we are safe. So we tend to actually recreate the drama because that is what makes us feel safe. And we don't understand that no. The drama isn't what makes us feel safe. What makes us feel safe is being able to be in stillness and at peace within yourself and to be in silence. And being in silence is terrifying for someone who grew up in a chaotic environment. If you grew up with chaos, with drama, with yelling, with all kinds of stuff going on, and it always somehow being your fault, even though you were 2, it's going to take work to learn how to nurture and mother and support yourself and accept yourself and love yourself and give yourself what you did not receive, the safety you did not receive as a child. And that's just one example. But I think that gives us an idea as to what needs to be looked at when we're working on healing during this month, because this month is not about, it's not about leaning into the duality and continuing to perpetuate the stories that create division and separation. This month is about bringing everything together, bringing it into harmony, bringing it into alignment. We have Jupiter in Cancer, expansion, it's exalted, it's happy. And we have Chiron in a conjunction in Aries with Mars. So that healing of the self, the healing of the relationship with power, with sovereignty, with the divine masculine, all of that is still happening. It's still what's going on in our field. And we have Venus in Gemini. So Venus is flirty. Venus is very fickle and kind of frivolous right now. So I would not suggest trying to get into a relationship right now until Venus gets not in Gemini. Because Venus in Gemini is all about the quick chatter, the intellect, the banter, definitely the banter. But it also is difficult to pin a Venus Gemini down. So if you're trying to look for a relationship, I would suggest that you focus inward during this cycle, not necessarily outward, at least until Venus is not in Gemini. It's just my 2 cents on Venus in Gemini. We want for love, for partnership, we want Venus in a much more solid and grounded house. Or maybe perhaps maybe not a watery. I'd say a more grounded house in order to bring that in. But as with anything, whatever we are calling in, if we're looking to manifest love, partnership, resources, creation, whatever we're looking to manifest, whatever your soul is calling you to work on, all of it is interrelated with your relationship with your safety, your relationship with your ability to trust yourself and to trust your vision, and your ability to feel safe in your power and sovereignty. And the thing with this Gemini, and I'm seeing it a lot, there's a lot of duality, and there's a lot of extreme duality. You see people either leaning far one way, far the other way, and there is no grace. There is no heart-centeredness to any of what is happening in the world. Well, I should say to most of what is happening in the world, or what we're seeing. There is a lot of fear that is continuing to be perpetrated and perpetuated. And the reason is because if you are in fear, it goes right back to the root chakra. If you do not feel safe, if you are in fear, if you are in doubt, if you are in anxiety, if you are insecure, there is an inability to have clarity and an inability to take action, because and if you do take action, you take action from a reactive and combative space as opposed to taking action from a grounded, heart-centered space. Those are 2 very different types of actions. And since I'm rewatching The Tudors, I'm going to use this analogy for that. When you begin a new project, the energy and intention with which you begin it is the energy and intention that will hold. And into King Henry VIII's Great Matter, when Protestantism and Lutheranism came on the scene, the seed behind that was envy. It was deep envy and jealousy of the wealth and the power of the Catholic Church. And these people disguised it as, no, we want equality. We can have direct communion with God. And yes, you can. However, you can see the seeds of their intention in what was wrought. They destroyed people's livelihoods. They destroyed monasteries and sacred art. They destroyed whole communities and burned books and wisdom because of that envy and jealousy. And whenever I watch TV shows like that, I actually like to go into the history and read about what actually happened, not just the sanitized version of what I'm seeing on the screen. And that's how I came to this realization. I'm like, oh, it was envy and it was jealousy. And it was here, let me grab power because I don't want you to have it. I don't trust you to have it. So I'm going to take it all for myself. There is an underlying greed to it. And this is why, particularly during this lunar cycle of Gemini, be very mindful of the intention with which you seed anything, any project, any partnership, any conversation, anything you do. Be mindful of what is how it's being seeded. With what are you seeding? What is the intention? What is the seed that is driving that creation? Reish created Mercury. Reish speaks to us of discernment, of accessing wisdom. And discernment requires us to be willing to take off the glasses, take off the mask, the veil over our eyes, and to see clearly what is happening. Analyze all sides, all perspectives. Don't just fall prey to, well, this belief aligns with what I've been told, and I'm going to go with that. I'm not even going to research or entertain anything else because it does not align with what I was told by X, Y, Z, or whoever. That's not wisdom. That's not discernment. And the moment that you pigeonhole yourself to only viewing the world through the desired perspective, you cut yourself off from wisdom and you cut yourself off from divine union, because we need to be open. You cannot be open if your mental faculties are closed. You need to have a flow, an ebb between the heart, the mind, the soul, the body. All of it works in tandem. You can't neglect one aspect and then think you're going to excel in another. That's not how this works. This is a time to work on our discernment, to work on the properties of wisdom. Wisdom is feminine. Wisdom, you need to actually allow yourself to be open and emptied to receive wisdom. It's not just something that comes from books, which is the other thing. We tend to think that the more we read, the more intellectual capacity we amass, the smarter we are. And that's not necessarily true, because if you do not have the wisdom to apply the concepts that you have read about, to see how they are implemented or can be implemented in the real world with real people and real situations, then you're not, that knowledge is not embodied. And if it is not embodied, it cannot help anyone. And then we get to Zayin. Zayin means crown, weapon, sustain. It's the 7th letter, numerical value of 7. So again, we have the 7. And the 7 represents the Shabbat, the day to be in sacred marriage, holy communion with the Shekhinah, with the divine feminine presence, with the Holy Spirit. And it is the Shekhinah that takes us into union with the divine Mother, Father, Allah. I like that it means weapon. And in that meaning, it is the weapon that cuts us off from all evil inclinations, all negativity. So Zayin, representing the 7th day of creation. On the 7th day of creation is the day of rest. But it's not necessarily rest as in do nothing. It's the actual day, because it's also aligned with Saturn. It's the day where if we have acted correctly, if we have been in alignment during the week, we can rest and take a day. However, if we haven't, we actually have to do the work. So it's interesting, because it's like it depends on what actions we have taken that can either allow for us to rest or allow for us to actually come to completion with what we need to come to completion with. These two frequencies give us an idea, a picture of what energy underpins this lunar cycle. We have the energies of wisdom, discernment, but also the energy of allowing ourselves to be crowned in our sovereignty through the removal of impurity, of negativity, of evil intent, which again goes back to the intention. So during this cycle, allow yourself to unify the polarities within you. The other polarity I will speak of is, and it's because it's been weighing on my mind, this whole idea, this perpetuating of a sick narrative of woman being either a harlot or a virgin. And it's the narrative of Mary Magdalene, and it makes me sick every single time I see it. Because there is, first of all, there's absolutely zero evidence in any of the texts that say that Mary Magdalene was a whore or a harlot or a sacred prostitute. First of all, there were no sacred prostitutes in 1st century Judea. There were no temples of Isis in 1st century Judea. Period. Like, that did not exist. There were no mystery schools of Isis in 1st century Roman occupied Judea. So this perpetuation of Mary Magdalene as a whore is really an example of the wounding women still carry. The wounding with our sexuality, the wounding with our creation, the wounding of us as women. And the more that we continue to think that the solution is in sexualizing or over-sexualizing ourselves, we lose the point. The moment that we think that we have to separate ourselves into these archetypes, the thing about these archetypes exist in the world of duality. They exist in the physical world because these are the archetypes we chose to play with. We are at the time where we must shed these old archetypes because they no longer serve the frequency Earth and humanity is elevating to. They do not serve it. So people can come back at me arrogantly and say whatever they have to say because they disagree with me. Okay, disagree with me. It doesn't make the facts behind my words any less true. So during this time, particularly for women, I do invite you to look into where you are playing the victim. Look into where you are playing into this derogatory archetype energy and feeding the beast that you do not want to feed. Because none of that helps. It doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us to continue to sexualize Mary Magdalene. We don't do that to Yeshua. And we whore Mary Magdalene out. Have Mary Magdalene ayahuasca or whatever the nonsense they come up with. You whore this sacred frequency of the feminine out for your own personal gain because you yourself have not healed your relationship with your sexuality, your relationship with the feminine, your relationship with your womb. Because a woman who's healed, she's not out there sexualizing herself or her content. She's not out there thinking that the world only sees in terms of black or white, whore or virgin. A person who is evolved does not see the Magdalene in this way, because the Magdalene, what she actually represents is being the vessel, the temple through which the light can be birthed into the world. Like Mother Mary was a sacred vessel, a temple for Yeshua to be birthed into the world. Mary Magdalene is the vessel that contains the light of Yeshua, the light of the divine, and births it into the world now as a consciousness, as a frequency, an energy that we embody when we choose to align with reverence, with respect, with deep humility. That is what is missing from the world. Humility. And that is another aspect of the Reish. Being humble enough to know that simply because you have lived your life one way does not mean that that is the best way for you to be living. Just because you've experienced the world and only seen a certain facet of it does not mean that that is the truth, that that is all there is. There is so much more out there. But it takes humility to access wisdom. And I will sign off with that, because that is exactly what we need for this cycle. To be in a space of deep humility and reverence for the divine, so we can receive and unite and be in that sacred relationship, that sacred marriage with the divine, which is this lunar cycle of Sivan. Have a blessed new moon. Do not forget to tune in to the sound activation of divine union for this lunar cycle to allow us to unify those polarities within us, to have the wisdom and the discernment to see clearly, to perceive clearly, to receive the wisdom, and to empty ourselves of what no longer serves us. If you enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe. Follow me for more. You can follow me on social media at Audialara on YouTube, and at Audialara and at Embodying the Shekhinah on Instagram. And if you would like to join me, this is the last call to join me for an online retreat that I will be sharing. I will be sharing transmissions during the Pleiadian alignment, which begins on May 19th through May 22nd. So it's 4 days of activations, of transmissions, of practices, of sacred wisdom and sound activations. You can do them at any time. I will be uploading them in the morning, and I will be on pilgrimage while I'm doing these. So you will be receiving the sacred activations from Cyprus, and I'm aiming to do one from Greece. There's a monastery, and I have an 8-hour layover before I get to Cyprus. So I am planning on doing Greece as well. So you will be receiving these sacred activations from these sacred lands while we go on this journey for this online retreat for the Pleiadian alignment that is linked below. I am wishing you a most blessed new moon, a blessed Gemini-Sivan portal, and I will see you in the next episodes. Have a blessed new moon and a blessed new lunar cycle. Ahava.